Welcome to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. We have a terrific crowd here tonight. We thank you for coming on out. Little chilly here in South Bend. Really our first cold weather day of the year. If you're worried about the forecast for Saturday, perfect football weather. Partly to mostly sunny, cool, 52 degrees for a high. And a coach said that at his press conference today. That is perfect football weather. And we hope it will be perfect football weather for a team that so far this year is a perfect 6-0 and ranked 5th in both major polls. Of course, the Irish went into what was supposed to be one of the most difficult places to play in the country on Saturday, Blacksburg. They scored a touchdown the first time they touched the ball. They had a field goal the second time they touched the ball. And suddenly I took my headsets off, and I was like, where's the crowd? The crowd got very, very quiet. Tech put up quite a fight, but the Irish, after some huge plays like Julian Love's fumble recovery and touchdown at the end of the first half, and Dexter Williams' 97-yard touchdown run to help break the game open, the Irish win that 45-23. So it's the first time that Notre Dame has scored 40 or more points in 3 consecutive road games in decades. Coach is on his way out here, so I know you'll greet him nicely when he steps into the bar area. Do want to tell you Julian Love's been added to the Chuck Bednarik Award watch list as the best defensive player in college football. Well deserved. He's the only FBS player with 10 or more broken up passes. He has 11, 3 or more fumble recoveries, an interception, and a defensive touchdown. And much deserved, Ian Book has been added to the Maxwell Award watch list as the best player in college football. He is believed to be the first Notre Dame quarterback since at least 1950 to complete more than 70% of his passes in 3 straight starts. So he's been playing well. And now, please welcome the head coach of the Fighting Irish, Brian Kelly. So we were talking about the weather a little bit. You were asked about it in your press conference. A little brisk out there, but that's pretty good for football.
Yeah, it was great football weather. I mean, I think most of the people in here are ready for a little bit of a change. I mean, get ready for the fall, and I think it's going to be in the 50s for Saturday. A good, hard freeze coming on Friday night, so it'll be great for football.
That's right. Grab those remaining tomatoes that you haven't pulled in from your gardens yet. Ray Huber is here from Culver, Indiana, so let's start your segment of the show with a good question, very open-ended question, but it's a good way to start the show. Coach, what stands out from this week in practice that you like so much you'd like to talk about it?
I just like the fact that, going into, our midterm break here, our guys are in exams. They played, a very difficult schedule. Obviously, the first 6 weeks out of the season. We didn't get back until 5 a.m. On Sunday morning, and they were great this week. Very professional about the way they worked. Worked hard all week. I just like the grit that they showed. No complaining, no drama. Knew that they had to go and have a great week of practice if they wanted to beat Pittsburgh. So that to me. You can't ask more from a group. Midterm exams, tough schedule, get back at 5 a.m., no complaints, let's get after it, and they did a nice job.
And when you talk about the grind these guys do go through, and one of the many pundits, you're not looking ahead, but many are now looking at your pathway to the playoff, and many are coming up with reasons why, well, maybe Notre Dame shouldn't be in that. And one of them was, well, they only play 4 true road games. Well, first of all, that's all Alabama plays. So they're not counting Navy as a true road game. They're not counting playing Syracuse and New York as a true road game. Your response to that about your schedule?
Well, we still have to go to San Diego to play
See, Navy. They don't count that because that's not a true road game.
Okay. Well, look, all I can do is play the games they put in front of us. We know this, that, we've beaten, let's see, now 3 top 25 teams in the first 6 weeks.
And the only team in the country that's done that.
Yeah.
It's because you start playing tough teams to begin with. My argument would be many teams build their way into it, and they play some of their tougher games late. Also, when they've had a chance to work out the kinks. You start with the tough teams right at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, we opened up with, Michigan, obviously, and I think we beat them too, didn't we? We beat Michigan? Yeah, we beat them too. So I guess, look, our guys are taking it 1 week at a time. We've got a tough schedule in front of us. I mean, Navy is a difficult team to play. I mean, each and every year they're going to play you for 4 quarters. Northwestern, I mean, look what they've done. I mean, they had a slip up earlier in the year, but they always play. I mean, they had a chance to beat Michigan. They beat Michigan State at Michigan State. That's hard to do.
And Notre Dame's never played on Northwestern's campus before. It's always been Soldier Field.
That's going to be a tough game. I mean, Florida State did not look good earlier in the season. They're playing much better. Look, USC is our rival game, so we got a lot of football. We got to beat Pittsburgh this weekend. So. That's really the focus on our group, and these radio talk shows are great, and we love having the opportunity to do them. But each day for me is I'm just trying to get through Thursday. This is the hardest day of the week for me is Thursday, and then tomorrow happens to be Friday, and that's going to be the hardest day of the week. So our guys feel the same way. We're just trying to get one day at a time.
Good response. It just piqued my interest today. By the way, Notre Dame's schedule right now ranked 8th toughest in the country through the games that they have played so far. Navy moved the game to San Diego for a better home field advantage for them so that all of those military members that we have so much respect for, but there's a huge naval base there, so that all those folks could come out and root on the midshipmen. And it's a Shamrock Series game, decision made to take it to Yankee Stadium, and now you're taking on home state Syracuse with tons of graduates there. So,
I mean, Syracuse took Clemson right to the end. I mean, so whatever.
Tough schedule.
Listen, here's all I know. We're going to try to beat Pittsburgh this weekend, and that's our focus. And we'll get some time off after that. We'll have the bye week, and we're going to win the damn bye week. I know that because we're taking time off in the bye week. So we just got to get through this Pittsburgh game, and that's going to be a challenge for us. They're a physical team, well coached. Pat Narduzzi does a really good job. Yeah. They're difficult. You got to stay out of third down against this group because you get to third down, they got all kinds of things going on third down in terms of their 3-down packages, and we got our work cut out for us.
Folks always wonder how you prepare teams, and I do want to touch a little bit back on last weekend. You've put it out of your mind, but you can open that door again. But you knew you were going into one of the unique and one of the great atmospheres in college football. And you really started preparing for that in spring practice. Chaos, the noise you were bringing constantly. It wasn't just the week leading into the game. And you end up going in there, and it was like a concert. Now, I will say this, Irish fans. I took my headsets off a few times. It was no louder than Notre Dame Stadium has been at key moments against Michigan and Stanford this year. So it's not like that unique. But they do start the game with bedlam, basically. But your guys are ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, we had been practicing that kind of environment since January. Yeah. Our workouts in the weight room, we had, light shows. We had loud music. We had anything that would try to distract our football team from what the purpose was, and that was the conditioning and workouts. And that's what, obviously a loud crowd does. It distracts you from what you're trying to do, and that is execute on offense and defense and special teams. So we had been working on it for months because, I didn't do a very good job preparing the team last year in Miami, so we weren't going to have that happen again. So we were prepared for it. Now, you still have to execute. Like, we were on the goal line at 17-16, and we had to execute that run that went 97 yards. We had to block it, but you have to execute as well in those situations. But our guys were not concerned having at any time that they weren't going to be able to execute and find a way to win.
Dexter Williams, the 97-yard touchdown run. He had 3 touchdowns in the game. He is averaging in 2 games 169.5 yards per game. Had he played enough games, he would be second in the country to Wisconsin's Jonathan Taylor, 169.8. No one else has been more productive. And I know you are so proud of him, the way he has dealt with adversity. And certainly, I mean, first time he touched the ball against Stanford, he scores from 45 yards out. He kept his head in it. He's ready to play.
He is, and he's also he's got some guys mad at him. He's supposed to get the offensive line pizza tonight, and they're still looking for him because he owes those guys pizza from that long run. So I was saying a lot of nice things, but I left the Goog here like 15 minutes ago, and he still hadn't shown up with the pizza. So
he better show up.
Yeah, if those guys are mad at you, that's a problem. He may not have any yards on Saturday.
Well, no, but your guys are dead. They will wait till you get a big lead. Then the hole will not be blocked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My point more than anything else is Dexter's done a great job, but that offensive line has been really, really good as well. And, we're averaging close to 200 yards rushing per game against really good football teams and really good defense. And you can see, right here, getting great push. Nick Wisher, we end up in the end zone there. I mean, the entire offensive line is in the end zone, and that makes it a little bit easier to score. And again, we get the ball out on the perimeter against a very good Virginia Tech. We're looking at the clips here on the television screen. And here's the run here. Nice kick-out block. He cuts it back up inside. And, I will say this about Dexter. Last year at this time, he could not have made this run. He would not have made this run. He was not conditioned enough physically to make that run. He would have ran out of gas. But what he's done and what I'm most proud of him is that he has conditioned himself and put himself as a better athlete on the football field, and he was able to finish off that run.
And, it's no longer controversial. The video board at Notre Dame Stadium has been a huge success. It has helped engage the crowd during some long breaks. It's increased the level of enthusiasm. But people would ask me, what are the big reasons for it? The players like it, not just to see themselves. But Dexter admitted to me on that play, he's watching the screen. He's running at the screen to see who's behind him to avoid them. But he did discover one thing. He said, I figured out it was about a second delayed, and the guy almost caught me because he was closer than I thought he was. So he won't do that again. I don't think it's delayed that much in Notre Dame Stadium. Another guy I want to point out here, there's so many great plays Saturday, but it stands out in my mind as really, I think, one of the best defensive plays that I've ever seen. And you joked before, Khalid Kareem, that gimpy ankle that he liked to go down so much so he'd hear the crowd applaud when he got back up. He didn't go down at all with the ankle against Virginia Tech, but that strip sack, he went to get the quarterback. He's knocked out of the play. He is prone flat, and he got right back up and made the play. It was one of the more impressive plays I can ever remember.
Well, one of the things that separates Khalid from a lot of other players is his effort. He gives great effort every single play. When he's out there, he does not take a play off, and that's why he's been so good for us. He's relentless in his effort, and so when you don't coach effort, you've got a great chance of having a good football team. When you have to go coach effort, you're in trouble. That's the one thing that we and I talk about all the time. If we got to coach effort, we're in trouble, and we don't coach that with him in particular because he gives it every single play. So that's what separates him. And, of course, he's got physical skills as well. He can rush the passer. He's strong. And the play that he made is really the kind of play that he normally makes. He keeps getting after it, and he breaks the will of many of the offensive linemen because he comes after you play after play after play.
And it was so critical. I mean, you scored 45 points. It was a great game. You want your team to play 4 quarters, but if you graded the quarters, the second quarter was the low quarter, and that was a point in the game where they're just about ready to take the lead if they can stop you, that you needed a play like that. It helped change the game. The Dexter run was probably the turning point in the game, but without Khalid's play, they came back and scored right away.
Yeah.
If they had scored to take the lead before the end of the half, that might be a completely different situation for you to deal with.
Well, there were some ebbs and flows there. Obviously, we had the turnover, and that was a big part of the game. But, I never really felt like we weren't going to find a way to settle back into the game. I felt confident at halftime. We got outside ourselves a little bit, trying to do too much. So it was very simple at halftime. It was just to get them back recentered on doing their job, and they did a great job of that in the second half.
And these guys really focus and listen. When you guide them with that kind of thing, you're trying to do too much, which actually, if you're going to have a flaw, it's a good flaw to have.
Yeah.
To people want to trying to do too much. But they've been very good at listening and then taking that into account and executing the instructions.
Yeah, I think that's, each team has some different characteristics. I think we've done a really good job as a staff of making sure that we're clear in our communication in terms of what we need from them. And if we're clear and consistent with what we need from them, they usually deliver. Whereas in other teams that I've had, you can kind of just let them go and they kind of sort it out and figure it out on their own. This is not that kind of team. They want some direction. They want to hear from you in terms of, here's exactly what we would like from you, and they go and do it. And so we were kind of figuring that out the first few weeks, quite honestly, about the personality of this team. Now we clearly got an understanding of what they want from us. We just lay it out for them. Here's what we need. Go do it, and they usually follow suit.
Tonight's Brian Kelly Radio Show is brought to you by our friends at TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979, so you know they've got their game plan down. Their team of experts help you find, deliver, and install using a playbook full of their very own test results and consumer ratings and reviews that make buying a new set of tires as easy as the quarterback sneak. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. We have lots of questions from our audience here at O'Rourke, so the rest of the show is going to be dealing with those questions, but here is our first time out. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Traffic. It can be more stressful than that last-second Hail Mary pass. But Nissan changed the game. Nissan Rogue has available Nissan Intelligent Mobility, like ProPilot Assist, that can start and stop in highway traffic all on its own and help keep you centered. Nissan Rogue. It's a game changer. Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics. ProPilot Assist is an available feature and cannot prevent collisions. Always monitor traffic conditions. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. See owner's manual for safety information.
At St. Joseph Health System, every hand held, every story told, every tear shed, smile shared, and spirit lifted stays in our hearts forever. We're blessed because every day we get to make a difference in people's lives. To learn more, visit sjmed.com. St. Joseph Health System. We are called to care for you.
This isn't just any Wi-Fi. It's the best in-home Wi-Fi experience to stream the most free shows on any device. It's how Xfinity makes life simple, easy, awesome.
Xfinity delivers fast speeds and the best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Perfect for streaming your favorites. Access the most free shows and movies, and even your DVR recordings on any device with the Xfinity Stream app. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store today. Restrictions apply.
We are back on the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. Chuck Sossman's here from Granger, often has very insightful questions. All he has tonight is the confidence of this team is certainly visible. They play like they want it. Too early to officially dub them a special group, but they do appear both on and off the field to have the potential to be a truly special group.
Well, I would agree. I mean, we got a lot of work in front of us. They do some really good things. I think we've got some work ahead of us, though. I mean, yeah. we're going to get tested in November. We've got to get through this November stuff. You know, we have not played very well in November. So we played well in September and October. We got to take care of ourselves. We've got to be accountable and responsible as it relates to getting into the training room, handling, the rigors of a long season. So I just don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. They're doing some really good things, but, we got some work ahead of us still.
Michael Lynch has a kicker question, and I'm glad you passed this in, Michael, because as long as I've been doing radio shows with former players, linemen, running backs, they hate to give credit to the kickers. There's that joke that, well, those guys aren't really players, but you've got an awful good one. Mike wants to know, did you throw Justin Uniparty for breaking the all-time points record. He has been an awfully good kicker for you and made some huge kicks.
He's been really, really good, and he's I'll tell you, like, there are so many key points in a game where, you know, if you miss an extra point, I mean, look in the NFL right now, how important a kicker is to the outcome of those games. And I get it. I know the margins are closer in the NFL because of the parity piece, but when you get into close games, and a lot of the close games that are going to be seen, you know, against quality opposition, that kicker's making a huge difference. And he's been in every close game that we've played. He has been up to the task, and I think that's what separates the great kickers. That when we need a big kick to win a football game, whether it's in the freezing rain in Orlando against LSU, or it's the opportunity to move ahead in a big game, he's always been there for us, and now he's the all-time leading scorer, and deservingly so.
Chuck Sossman here. How is Jafar Armstrong coming along? And also, any chance we'll see any of the freshman running backs on Saturday?
Jafar's making good progress. We think that things look really good in the wound on the knee. Infection looks to almost be cleared. Now it's just a matter of getting those sutures out early next week and then getting him back. We're hopeful. You know, we're looking at Northwestern as the target date to get him back, and he will be. I mean, to have him healthy with Dexter and Tony, that really gives us a formidable group going into November. That's going to be a huge boost for our offense, getting him back healthy. He was just starting to emerge, as you know, in that Wake Forest game. So that's going to be big for us. And there was another part of the question there, too?
Wanted to see if you see any freshman running backs in the game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think if you see anybody going, it'll be Jameer Smith. Jameer came in as a mid-year and is just a little bit ahead in terms of the overall needs at that position in terms of pass protection. I don't want to put a back in there that is one-dimensional and that, you know, Sebo Flemister might have a little bit more, you know, elusiveness at times, but Jameer is really good with the ball in his hands, physical, and he knows all of our pass protection. So he's a guy that you can keep on the field, and you don't have to situationally pull him out of the game.
And those pass protections so important. You look at Dexter Williams, one of the things that kept him off the field early in his career was he did not pick them up at times in critical situations that cost you.
No doubt. And now he's in a position now where he can stay on the field, and that was the maturation that he needed to continue to have, and he's done it.
Chris Caparelli's here from Elkhart, Indiana. Coach, your success at home this year has been great, but how do you prepare your team for the rigors of travel coming up? 3 trips to the coast is tough on anyone, let alone a team hoping to compete for a title.
Well, we knew it was on our schedule, so we're taking all of the things into consideration. For example, when we go to Navy, we're coming off a bye week, or when we go to San Diego to play Navy, we're coming off a bye week, and then we're going to stay over after the game. So we'll get good rest after the game. They'll be able to sleep on the flight back, so we feel pretty good about that trip. And then we just go to Chicago the next week, so we're not really taxed in that regard. Then we're home against Florida State. The big one now is the transition of going to New York, coming back to South Bend, and then going to L.A. All things go well, you know, we're hoping that we're in a great position and that we're playing on adrenaline going to USC to play our rivals. So, you know, we've got a lot of work ahead of us, but I think it's manageable because we have the bye week going to San Diego. If we were coming off of another game where we're getting back at 5 a.m., I would be telling you right now that it's going to be difficult, but I think it's very, very manageable for us going forward.
And I don't know if you had any influence, and I do know people would be surprised you don't have that much influence on the schedule, but the fact that the Shamrock Series game with Syracuse is a day game is huge. If that was another primetime 7:30 game, you would be getting back here at 3 or 4 in the morning, and that would just make that week brutal.
The Yankees have been really good working. You know, it's a class organization, and they have worked with us in the past, and you know, it's just, you know, trying to get that game put together is always a challenge when it's off campus. But when you work with an organization like that, it makes it a whole lot easier because they've been so accommodating to make sure that, all the little things are done right for us to get in, get out of there, and get back here to South Bend.
Vito Dente is here from Avoca, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Welcome, Vito.
All right, Vito. He's got his whole his groups here too.
His posse's here, the Vito posse.
Yeah.
Coach,
I've got my posse here too. From
that's true.
Clinton, Massachusetts. My boys from Assumption College. So watch out, Vito. My guys are here too.
Yeah, they're dangerous. I've hung out with those guys before.
Oh, they're extremely dangerous.
And they've got stories.
No, they got
Boy,
too
do
many
they have stories.
stories.
Yes, they do. Coach, this is Vito's question. With the way all three phases are coming together for your team, what is the emphasis for your team as you take each game going forward?
Well, the emphasis is to prepare. For us, it's total preparation. It's, the physical, the tactical, the technical, the mental, all that preparation happens each and every week. And then putting that together on Saturday with an attention to detail, a great focus, playing really smart, having a great attitude, and really at the end of the day, you got to be gritty. You got to be able to fight through some adversity. So this is not anything new to us this year. It's been the same message. I think, as I said earlier, we've given them a consistency, and they've stuck with it. I know you'd like me to come up with something original that they've stuck with a plan, and I'm really proud of the way they've responded week after week.
We have lots more questions for Coach Kelly, and we'll get to them right after this timeout. The Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
The locker room took care of it. If you have follow-up questions with this matter, go see Odell.
Wow. Well done, Pat Shermer. You go talk to him. He says he's the man. Well, he is a grown man. You talk to him. And then he said the locker room handled it. And then goes finito. He became a coach in the New York market. Amazingly, dropping to 1-4.
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays at 4 on the Sports Leader. 96.1 WSBT.
96.1 WSBT, the sports leader, is your new home for Indianapolis Colts football.
Luck out of the gun. Fakes the handoff, throws upfield into the end zone. It's good! The two-point conversion is good! Chester Rogers, and we are tied! We are tied at 31!
Colts football is brought to you locally by Bill's Collision Service, The Pub in Granger, Edward Jones, the Food Bank of Northern Indiana, Hurt Outdoor Living, Scotty's Brewhouse, Leckleitner Door, Wings, etc., and Zolman's Tire and Auto.
Now it's easier than ever for you to reach out to WSBT Radio, especially if your nonprofit group, organization, or church has an upcoming activity. Let us know by going to WSBTradio.com. Click on the community button at the top of the page and fill out the form, and we'll let everyone know about your event. Now it's easier than ever to publicize your events and partner with WSBT Radio. We know we're all in this community together, so let's work together. Contact us today at WSBTradio.com.
No matter how modern your family might be, if you're pedaling around Bedrock in a gas engine vehicle, you're living in the past.
Meet George Jetson.
The era of the electric vehicle has arrived. With instant acceleration, electric cars are more fun to drive and more affordable than ever. Electric cars are here. Plug in to the present. Learn more at plugintothepresent.com. Sponsored by Volkswagen Group of America.
This Friday's Restaurant of the Week is Hensel's Oak and Bucket, and you can purchase two $25 certificates for only $25. Hensel's Oak and Bucket in South Bend offers a relaxing, family-friendly experience on one of 3 tier decks overlooking the St. Joseph River. Enjoy a full dining menu with chicken, fish, shrimp, daily specials, and of course their specialties, juicy burgers and succulent steaks. So this Friday morning, go to restaurantoftheweek.com and get your half-price Hensel's Oak and Bucket dining certificates before they're gone.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show, live from O'Rourke's Public House. A great place to spend an evening, lots of monitors. If you hear Coach occasionally refer to video, we show video of specific players and plays from time to time. You can also watch this show, both live or later the archive version on Watch ND. Michael Lynch, another good question, Coach. Do you prefer night or day games? Is there a different locker room atmosphere for a day game versus a night game?
Oh, yeah, I think there is. I think the entire campus has a different feel for a night game versus a day game. It just, even, I would say, even though the stadium is full, the stadium feels a little bit different, too, on a day game compared to the evening game. So I don't know what it is. I think just that nighttime electricity, adds to a different environment. But we could use it to be like a night game environment on Saturday. So get out there, and we open the lots early for tailgating. So if you need to get out there a little bit earlier, go ahead. You got that, Hazel? Get out there early, and Julie will make sure that it's open early for you. She's got the key.
Tom and Michelle are making at least semi-annual trip from Altoona, Pennsylvania. Wonderful year so far, Coach. With the cold weather now here, do some players adapt easier than others?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. If you came to practice today, you would have saw several of our guys that are from now, we have some pretenders, too. So we have a number of guys from, like, D.C. area, Maryland, and you would think that they're from South Florida, the way they dressed, and they're just pretenders, right? But the guys from the South, they had hoodies on and mittens, and that includes our all-time leading rusher and running back coach, Autry Denson. He's the biggest offender. He does not like it cold at all, but he doesn't show it with his backs. He doesn't play with that, but he likes it nice and warm, too.
Now, it was really windy in the stadium today, it is cold. It's supposed to be warmer Saturday. Sun will be out, high of 52.
And the wind will be gone. Wind will be virtually nothing, 8 to 9 miles an hour. Today, we had gusts of up to 18 miles an hour.
Jim Lynch is here from Dallas, Texas. Coach, what are the big differences that you noticed between your 2012 team and this year's team?
Offensive production. That year, we lived on the backs of our defense. Tried to do as much as we could with a young quarterback. Won games by one score, overtime, and really just lived off a great defense and tried not to turn it over and really were a ball control type of offense. I think we complement, this team complements each other so much better, offense, defense, and special teams than the 2012 team. There were some great players on that 2012 team, too. But I think overall this team is much more balanced from an offense-defensive standpoint.
Michael McCabe is here from West Des Moines, Iowa. Coach, what is your favorite tradition at Notre Dame and why?
Favorite tradition as it relates to football?
It's open-ended, so I think you can determine.
Well, I mean, where else do you sit in the stadium and listen to the Our Father before the game starts? I mean, really. I mean, that's pretty special. That doesn't happen anywhere else. I think that's a great tradition. And I just think that, overall, the ability to bring in the tradition of Notre Dame from a student standpoint. If you look across college football today, I think Nick Saban was talking about this the other day. Their students leave in the second quarter, and there's some pictures online of that stadium missing, a lot of people. Our students, the tradition of our students singing the alma mater with the football team is like nothing else. That kinship or that shared relationship between the football team and the students, that doesn't happen anywhere else other than maybe the academies. So those two things stand out to me.
There was a moment at Wake Forest, too, for the band did not travel to Wake Forest, and you were tied up with TV and then me because I know you wanted to take part of it. But the players actually went over to the Notre Dame fan section where some students, no band or anything, the players just sang the alma mater without a cappella, I guess you would call it, with the fans. So it's become something that's really important to the players as well.
It's pretty cool. I mean, look, you can look all around college football today, and those two traditions, pretty unique. And they're not necessarily things that have happened since Newt Rockne. You know, they're part of what Notre Dame has evolved to be, and I think that's really neat too.
Great crowd here tonight at O'Rourke's. Back with more of their questions after this timeout.
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
The two most recognized names in orthopedic and sports medicine have teamed up to form Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance. South Bend Orthopedics and OSMC are now Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance, offering patients access to more than 40 physicians in 7 state-of-the-art locations with no referral required. As one entity, they will collaborate with a broader group, sharing experiences and ideas so you'll receive the best care possible. Although Ascendant Orthopedic Alliance is a new name, they're still committed to the community they've served for over 70 years. For more information, visit ascendantortho.org.
If your superpower is making pizza disappear, then you've got to try Papa John's new Italian Hero Pizza. Featuring a creamy Italian sauce covered with epic portions of pepperoni, salami, Roma tomatoes, onions, banana peppers, and topped with 4 delicious cheeses. It's like an Italian Hero sandwich on a pizza. Get a large Italian Hero Pizza for just $10. Download the app or order at papajohns.com. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Prices and participation may vary. Taxes, tip, and delivery fee extra.
Life doesn't come with a financial roadmap. It does come with a lot of bumps and red lights. Steering clear of those doesn't have to be difficult. With First Source Bank's online money management tools, you can see all your financial accounts, balances, and transactions in one place. So you can easily set monthly budgets to help manage expenses and debt. Get the green light to a successful financial future with First Source's money management tools. First Source Bank, where better is better. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Folks, Notre Dame's always a tough ticket. When they're undefeated, an even tougher ticket, but you can still experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. On Vivid Seats, no game is ever sold out. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell your tickets. Vivid Seats helps you see more and sit closer all season long at vividseats.com/UND. Another weather question, I think, for folks listening around the country. And by the way, the show also available on podcasts, wherever podcasts are available, including iTunes. Lisa Morrison from Granger. It was in the 80s here Monday and Tuesday this week. So it has been a drastic temperature change. Lisa would like to know, do you think the cold weather will affect the passing game?
No, not at all. I mean, we're used to. I mean, if you look at we had some really good games last year in bad weather. Navy, Wake Forest in particular. So that won't affect us. We were outside today in the elements. It was a little windy in the stadium. We threw the ball just fine. So that won't be an issue at all.
Well, and everybody wears gloves now, and they're specially designed receiver gloves. Mm-hmm. I think that has changed the game tremendously, but I would defer to your expert opinion.
No, I don't think it's look, the gloves.
From a weather perspective.
Yeah, no, the gloves help. I think the quarterback still has to spin it pretty good. I mean,
yeah.
It's still about accuracy. It's still about putting it on guys, and Ian Book is really good. You know, interesting thing, you know, we put a GPS in the football, which measures the spin ratio of the football. And his spin ratio is, 75 is about average. An NFL quarterback is probably somewhere in the mid to high 80s. Ian Book is like 92. You know,
wow.
He spins the ball, which obviously keeps it on line from A to B. Yeah. And that's why he's 72% completion percentage right now. So that's gonna fare really well in windy conditions.
Beth Hensler from Houston, although again, Beth and Tom are always up here every fall, but she has a Houston question. Shamrock Series games have been played in San Antonio and Dallas. Are there any plans to play one in Houston in the future?
Houston. I have not seen Houston on the schedule. Of course, we're in Wisconsin coming up. here with the University of Wisconsin.
And that one will be in Green Bay and one will be in Chicago.
That's correct.
Yep.
Green Bay and Chicago. But I have not seen Houston on the schedule. But Houston's been really good for us in terms of recruiting now too. It's a really solid area for recruiting. So I can see that being an area that we would want to be in the state. You know, I mean, if you look at it right now, it would probably be Dallas and Houston as our top two areas in recruiting.
Now, there's one wrinkle to this. The conferences own the television rights in their areas.
Right.
So, for example, Wisconsin works because you're in the Big Ten area.
Right.
But Notre Dame can't just take this great matchup and put it in the area where another conference is dominant because they can't put it on their TV network. So it's another flip there.
Yep.
Now, Tom Hensler, do you really want me to ask this? Because we can deny you access to the Joyce Center, but we will. He helps the fencing team as a former fencer. Coach, do you think the Red Sox will be able to win any games against the defending world champion Houston Astros in the upcoming American League Championship Series?
Any games? Yes, I think they'll be able to win. I think so. You know, I think that's an interesting series. Certainly, Houston is a great team, but Boston, if they get hot hitting, I don't know how you get them out. You know, they're just such a good hitting team. So even if Houston is the better team, if Boston gets hot for one night, they're going to score a gazillion runs. So yeah, they're going to at least win one game.
Well, Red Sox starting pitching, if they get the continued good pitching which they base the season on, and if the bullpen can leave the fire gasoline cans at home or not bring them to Fenway this weekend, they'll be in good shape. Kyle Roberts is here from Osceola. Coach, with Avery Davis converted to wide receiver running back, will we see a trick play where he throws the ball in the future? Oh, Kyle, why would he answer that if it's in the playbook? Why would he answer that?
Well, I mean, Avery Davis, you know, what we're trying to do with Avery is develop him as a complete back. And so, you know, many people have asked me this question, why don't we see more of him? You know, we could put him out there as a trick player, if you will, where he would be in that situation where everybody would expect him to do that. We would like to see him as a much more complete player, and he's working on that. And when I say a complete player, a guy that pass protects, a guy that runs up inside, a guy that can be on the perimeter, do all those things. And then when you do, in fact, run a trick play, it is a trick play. Because right now, if we put him in that situation, everybody, including everybody on the other team, is yelling, watch out for the reverse pass. So we're working hard on developing him as a complete player first.
I've gotten a bunch of questions on the Ask Coach Kelly portal on the internet about Brandon Wimbush. He's a great athlete. Can you convert him to running back? Can you convert him to wide receiver? And I think what people are not thinking about there is he's still a quarterback. He is your backup quarterback. You need a backup quarterback.
Look, if we could put him in a vacuum and say, all right, none of your quarterback skills will erode. They'll stay the same, and we're just going to work on you playing slot receiver and running back, then we would do it. But you need a lot of work to continue to develop your skills at the quarterback position. So it's not as easy as it sounds. You can't just take him out of the quarterback position and start working on another position, because then you lose what you have at the quarterback position.
Well, look what's happened at Clemson. Their backup transferred.
Yeah.
And they almost lost to Syracuse.
So to answer the question is, we would love to be able to do that, but you can't with your guy that is one step away from being in the game and having to lead this football team. And so he's got to take a lot of work. He gets 40% of the work at quarterback because he's got to be ready to step in and play. So we don't have the luxury to be able to do that. If we had a third quarterback that was ready, and Phil's just not ready to run and lead our offense to a championship yet because he just hasn't had enough time with us. If we had a third veteran guy, maybe we could do that. We just don't have the luxury to do it.
And secondarily, but also, if you make him a full-time running back or full-time slot receiver, you're risking him injury-wise as well.
Well, but you've then made the decision that he's not the quarterback.
Yep.
So then it's not a risk anymore. And that's my point, is that we can't afford to take him away from the quarterback position in that respect.
He's got to be full-time, one or the other.
He's got to be committed one way or the other. If we had another quarterback that was ready, and Phil will be a really, really good quarterback, he can't lead us to a championship. We've got a championship quality football team. He just doesn't have enough experience right now. Brandon does, and we know we can win with Brandon. He's got to stay a quarterback.
And Phil didn't come early. He came normally, which is great. I
June.
love to see guys have a normal high school experience. But you play a lot of hurry up, no huddle, too. And when I always want to remind myself the decision process quarterbacks have to go through, I stand behind the offense in practice. And it's now 1-2-3 throw. So they get a snap. They have 4 or 5 receivers. They've got the defense, and they have to instantaneously almost make their reads and throw the football. It's not like it was 20 or 30 years ago. That's why you need those reps, and it's hard to do that without experience.
Listen, if we could huddle, right, and we had a piece in his ear where we could talk to him and slow it down, then maybe we could manage the game a little bit. But you got to go, and it's hard for a freshman unless you're really managing it for him.
And not just here. Very few freshman quarterbacks, especially in a spread hurry-up offense, can have great success.
If you weren't there in the spring.
Yeah.
If you're in the spring, you got so much time with them in the spring to lay the foundation down, and then you've got the spring and the summer and camp. You've got a chance to do it that way. But to get them in June and not see them until the first day of camp in August, it's almost impossible.
We are rolling here on this edition of the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Back with more questions for the coach right after this.
Hi, this is Doug Leckleitner. When your garage door quits working, Leckleitner can fix it fast. Call 295-6311. Want to improve the look of your home? Try a new garage door. Call Leckleitner at 295-6311. Need service or installation on a commercial, industrial, or agricultural door? Call Leckleitner at 295-6311. When you need same-day service, Leckleitner Door can deliver. Leckleitner Door, sales and service. We open all the right doors. Call us at 295-6311.
Kurt Outdoor Living wants to help you transform your yard into a dream come true. Kurt can deliver bulk hardwood mulch in a variety of colors and textures safe for plants and animals. Dreaming of a new outdoor kitchen? The professionals at Kurt Outdoor Living can help you from planning to purchase to install. Visit their outdoor showroom to see the wide variety of patio pavers, retaining walls, fire features, grills, outdoor kitchen appliances, arbors, and awnings. 2129 West Wilden Avenue in Goshen. KurtOutdoorLiving.com.
Gulfstream Coach. We're looking for a few exceptional trainees for our first shift who are eager to learn, can function in a fast-paced environment, and want to learn the RV business. We're a family-owned business and offer amazing health insurance, attendance bonuses, and paid vacation time. Call us at 800-289-8787. That's 800-289-8787. Or apply online at GulfstreamCoach.com. That's GulfstreamCoach.com. You could be just what we're looking for. Apply today.
Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame invites you to dine, shop, enjoy. Just south of campus, Eddy Street Commons has specialty shops like Urban Outfitters, Nicholas J. Salon, Kilwin's Chocolates, and Hammis Bookstore. If you're looking for a delicious dining destination, consider one of Eddy Street's many eateries. O'Rourke's, Barbici, Brothers Bar and Grill, and now open is Livery. That's Eddy Street Commons at Notre Dame. Follow them on Facebook. For details on upcoming events and special offers, visit eddycommons.com.
Golick and Wingo.
It's the reason Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones broke up in the first place. This is ego of Jerry Jones thinking he knows more than he does. And he doesn't, but he can't admit that. He's a man with the ball and he's a man to write the check, so he gets to make these decisions.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings on 96.1 WSBT. The home of Notre Dame football, Notre Dame basketball, the South Bend Cubs, and the Indianapolis Colts. This is 96.1 WSBT.
We're back at O'Rourke's Public House. Lots of questions for the coach. We won't get to all of them, but there have been some great questions tonight. Dean from South Bend would like to know, Coach, first of all, congratulations on another big win. During the season, do you have time to work with the Kelly Cares Foundation?
Do I have time to work with the foundation? Not in terms of events per se. Rosie Barilla's here tonight representing our foundation, and she does an incredible job on a day-to-day basis. My wife, obviously, Lisa Klender, our executive director, they do a lion's share of the work.
And October's a big month for the foundation.
Big month for the foundation. We just had the Zumba in the stadium. I think we have 300,000 people in the stadium. Is that right? Oh, okay, so I don't work with them all the time, so I didn't get the numbers right. 1,000. I can embellish a little bit, can't I?
1,300. You had 1,300. That's pretty impressive.
350,000 people in the stadium once again. But no, they do a fabulous job.
Jerry List here, as he always is from South Bend. Coach, how can you maintain the fast starts on offense?
Well, I think we prepare very well, and I think our guys are kind of locked into, executing very well with a plan of, as you guys know, if you follow me at all, and we like to take the football, win the toss or lose the toss, we're taking the football. I believe in scoring first, and that gives you an advantage in games. And our guys just are buying into starting fast and understand that getting off to a good start. I think we've led in all but
you've only trailed for like 3 minutes the entire season.
3 minutes the entire season, so we like to get off to a good start. So it's kind of like the personality of the football team now.
Brandon Liss also here. Coach, at the halfway point of the season, what goals has your team accomplished so far, and what can this team still improve on?
Well, the goals are internal goals. They're not, obviously being bowl eligible wasn't one of our goals. That's not ever a goal at Notre Dame. The goal is simple at Notre Dame, is to win a national championship, but there isn't another goal. We don't have a conference championship to play for. So be one of the 4 teams that gets into the playoffs and a chance to win it. But they're internal goals, right? So I think the one that we've accomplished the most is that we play with a better sense of urgency, that each play is looked at a lot differently than maybe it was before. That's a big goal that we've been able to get this year.
Brian's here from Northampton, Pennsylvania. Coach, when Notre Dame wins the toss, why do you always choose to receive?
Simply percentages of scoring first. We believe that if we score first, the numbers, they're close to 77% of scoring first. You win football games. Now, you can take it the other way and choose to defer, and that is score late in the first half and then get the ability to double down on that and get the ball in the third quarter. I prefer to get after it right away. So it just depends on how you want to run that race, right? Do you like to get out of the gates early and increase that lead on an opponent? Or do you like to come out in the middle of the pack and then kind of gradually, get after your opponent? It's just more of a philosophy. I like to get out of the gates and lap the field.
All right, we will dive a little deeper into Saturday's opponent, the Panthers of Pittsburgh, right after this final timeout on the Brian Kelly Radio Show.
We know you like football. So do we. We're TireRack.com, and this is our version of a 2-minute drill, except it's only 30 seconds. TireRack.com has an enormous selection of tires. Not sure which ones to buy? Use our tire decision guide to find the right tires for your vehicle and the way you drive. Then get them shipped fast and free on all orders over $50. Shipping is in as little as 1 day. Free. TireRack.com ships to independent, recommended installers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Touchdown!
Join us at O'Rourke's Public House, home of the Brian Kelly Radio Show, to cheer on the Fighting Irish before, during, and after all home games. O'Rourke's Irish decor, delicious menu items, and wide variety of beer selections are sure to enhance your game day experience. Open at 8 a.m. on game days, you can watch Saturday's college football action on any of O'Rourke's 15 TVs, including a 92-inch projector screen. O'Rourke's Public House, located directly across from Notre Dame Stadium at the corner of Angela and Eddy Street in the Eddy Street Commons Center.
The only time you contact your insurance company is when something bad happens. But at West Bend, we try to make sure your worst day is not so bad after all. If your area is affected by extreme weather, our storm response team will be on the scene quickly with Responder, our state-of-the-art office on wheels. And you can easily report claims to us 24 hours a day, toll-free. That's what we mean when we say the worst brings out our best. To find out more about West Bend, go to thesilverlining.com.
Fighting Irish fans, don't miss your chance to experience the action live with tickets from Vivid Seats, the official ticket marketplace of the Fighting Irish. Visit vividseats.com/UND today to buy and sell tickets to any event. Home games, on the road, even sold-out games, no problem. And every transaction is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Vivid Seats lets you see more and sit closer all season long. Support the Fighting Irish with tickets from the official ticket marketplace, Vivid Seats. Available now at vividseats.com/UND.
We are back. Final segment of this week's edition of the Brian Kelly Radio Show. Next up, the Panthers of Pittsburgh. They're coming off a 44-37 overtime win at home over Syracuse. They're 3-3 in the season, 2-1 overall. And this is a rivalry. All the older folks know that. Only 4 teams have played Notre Dame more than Pitt. And I know from a Pittsburgh perspective, they're somewhat disappointed that this series is not every year now. It's up to whatever the ACC decides, the teams that you play in the ACC every year. So in addition to some of the things you talked about, and certainly the fact that Pat Narduzzi is known to always have a tremendous defense. He did at Michigan State for years before he became the head coach at Pitt. You know that team, again, the Notre Dame game, very important to them.
Well, what else has Pitt been known for, right? Tony Dorsett, I mean, the great backs that have come from Pittsburgh, that's still who they are. And Ollison and Hill, the 2 running backs, are really, really good players. Here's what you got to look for. Both these backs are 225 pounds. They have an athletic offensive line. They run the outside zone very, very well. They work very well together. If they're controlling the line of scrimmage and running the football very well, they eat clock, they limit possessions, and then they've got some guys on the outside that they can take some shots down the field. So we have to control the line of scrimmage. If they can run the football effectively, which they did against Syracuse, they're a handful. They're a problem. So, again, this is a Pittsburgh team that runs the football, is aggressive on defense, and you better be ready to strap it up against them because that's who they are. That's who they've always been. I played Pittsburgh when I was at Cincinnati. It was the same thing. They haven't changed in terms of who they are. They have a new head coach, but it's a tough physical football team, and it starts with, running the football for them.
Ollison's averaging just under 100 yards per game. They rushed for 308 yards against Syracuse. They're averaging 204 rushing yards a game. Now, they've given up a lot of points in games this year, but they were able to beat Georgia Tech. And if you saw what Georgia Tech did to Louisville last weekend, certainly any team that can contain that triple option attack has some skill on defense.
Yeah, this is a Power 5 football team that, look at the last couple of years. They beat Miami, who took us to the woodshed. They beat Miami, and then the year before they beat Clemson, who played for the national championship. So this is a team that's extremely capable of beating anybody on their schedule. So you've got to come to play. You've got to play physical. You've got to play smart. And you got to play up to the standards that we played the first 6 weeks. So, and then, again, take care of the football on offense. Do what we've been doing, and we'll be fine. But you can't just say, hey, it's Pitt. And, this is a good, tough, hard-nosed football team and hard to play if you give them extra chances on offense because they're going to eat up the clock and run the football.
7th straight week that you have played. You're a little banged up, as every college football team is at this point. You were asked in your press conference before you came over here if you would consider maybe trying to rest some people tonight and on Saturday, and you swatted that question down very quickly.
I was like, rest who? We're not resting anybody. I'm trying to find guys that can play. And so, yeah, it's going to be a hard-nosed physical football game. We're just looking to score one more point than Pitt. If we can score one more than Pitt, we'll be happy.
His answer was all hands on deck. So, folks, they need all the fans on deck as well Saturday. 2:30 kickoff, Notre Dame Stadium. We will not be here next week, but we are here the next 3 weeks. 3 shows left. Hope to see you then. Root on the Irish on Saturday. For Coach Kelly, Jack Nolan, thanks for your great participation tonight, folks. Thanks for listening, watching all around the world. Good night and go Irish.
Thank you.
It's the Brian Kelly Radio Show at O'Rourke's Public House, presented by Team Notre Dame partners